Okay, so I'm gonna try to finish up all the Module 8 videos in this one, or topics in this one. That last one was a tough one. So I think these are all a little bit easier. We're getting into stuff that you've seen before. So the first one is distance between 2 points. And all you need to do is make sure that you are simplifying your radical, because they do ask for exact answers. Okay, so remember your distance formula, right? It's the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so that's the way I always teach it. I don't ever, maybe I write down the distance formula, but I always encourage kids to think about it as the Pythagorean theorem. So we want to find the distance between k, which is -2, -1, and h, which is -1, +1, 9. Okay, and it's -9, like that. Okay, so the first thing that I always do is just like a quick little sketch. Okay, and I think in Alex they might even give you a graph to go with it. But there would be k at -2, -1, and x at -2, y -1. Does not have to be to scale. H would be 1, -9. Okay, so then all you need to do is kind of think about if this were the hypotenuse of a triangle. Okay, so this base of the triangle, we'd go from -2, right, to 1. So that'd be a 3. And then if we're going between -1 and -9, that'd be 8. Okay. And that's honestly, that's where kids tend to go wrong, is they think about it wrong, like -1 to -9, they might think 10. But really, it's -1 to -9, that would only be a distance of 8. Okay. And then you're just finding the side. So you were going to do your 8 squared plus 3 squared, and then square root it, and you're going to simplify it. So we're going to do the square root of 64 plus 9, which is the square root of 73. And that's it. You're done. Okay, see how easy those problems are compared to that last one? Let's do another one. So in this next one, they give you L, which is -7, 8, and C, which is -3, 1. So if I were to graph that, -7, 8, and C, -3, 1. Okay, so think about your triangle. Okay, so in the x's from -7 to -3, I travel 4. And in the y's from 1 to 8, I travel 7. So 7 squared plus 4 squared, square root of 49 plus 16. It's the square root of 65. 65. That's it. Okay, much better than that last one that we did, right? I really did not like that last one. Okay, let's get another one here. Midpoint. Oh, these are all some nice ones here. Midpoint of a line segment in the plane. Okay, so basically all you need to do here is average the x's and average the y's. Okay, so an example of this one, we want to find the midpoint of the segment from C, which is 1, 4, to D, which is -3, -8. Okay, and I like to draw a sketch for these too. It kind of helps you figure out if your answer makes any sense. So C at 1, 4, and D at -3, -8. Doesn't have to be perfect. Mine definitely is not. Okay. And some of these are going to be pretty easy to do, right? Like what's halfway between -3 and -1? Okay, and that's going to be, I'm sorry, -3 and +1, and that would be -1. Okay, halfway between -3 and +1, just think on your number line, right? -3 and +1, 0, -1, -2. Halfway between those is -1. But you can get the same thing by averaging the x's. We can do 1 plus negative 3 and divide it by 2. Okay, add them up and divide by 2. So we have negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. Okay, and then for D, what's halfway between positive 4 and negative 8? A lot of you can get that in your head. It's negative 2. Okay, but again, if you want to do the work, we can do 4 plus negative 8 divided by 2. So we have negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. So our answer just needs to be the ordered pair, negative 1, negative 2. And that's it. Okay, we can do another one though. We'll do another one. Let's do the midpoint of the segment P, which is negative 7, negative 8, to Q, which is 1, 6. Okay. And we'll do this one without drawing this. You know what? I was going to say without drawing the sketch, but I always have to draw a sketch. Negative 7, negative 8 would be P. 1, 6 would be Q. It just helps you figure out if your answer makes sense. Okay, so you can kind of eyeball like where it should be. Okay, it should be negative something. Oh, and never mind because I drew it wrong. P is negative 7, negative 8. Oop. Negative 7, negative 8. Okay, so still kind of helps you eyeball, like right around where it should be. Okay, so the average of the x's, the line over it means average. Sorry, I'm getting my statistics stuff in here now too. Okay, so negative 7 plus 1 over 2. So we'll have negative 6 over 2, which is negative 3. And then the average of the y's, negative 8 plus 6 over 2. So negative 2 over 2, so negative 1. So your answer would be negative 3, negative 1. And that is it. Nice, easy ones for you guys. Okay. The next one, we have finding x and y intercepts of the graph of a nonlinear equation. Okay, and remember, it doesn't matter that it's nonlinear. Okay, your x-intercept means y is 0, and your y-intercept means x is 0. If y is 0, you solve for x. If x is 0, you solve for y. Okay, so our example for this one, we are going to find the intercepts of y squared minus x minus 49 equals 0. Okay, so to find our x-intercept, y is 0. Okay, so then we'd have negative x minus 49 equals 0. Just add x to both sides, and x is negative 49. Okay, your y-intercept, x is 0. So we'd have y squared minus 49 is 0. That's your difference of squares. So y is negative 7, and y is positive 7. Okay, and the way that they want you to put your answers for these is just to list them. So your y-intercept is 7 and negative 7. Your x-intercept is negative 49. Okay, we'll do another example of these. Another example, we've got x squared plus y equals 4. So for your x-intercept, y is 0, x squared equals 4. So that means x could equal 2 or negative 2. Okay, make sure you get both of those. All right, when you see that it's squared, that means that there's going to be 2 answers. Okay, and sometimes we forget that. And then your y-intercept, we make x equals 0, and it's just y equals 4. Okay? We are cruising through these. All right, next one. Now, the remaining ones are all about circles. Okay? So, little circles in general. If you remember, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay, that's your general, or I should say, that's graphing form of a circle. Okay, the center is at hk, and the radius is r. Okay, so the first problem that we have is going to be very straightforward. It's probably going to take me longer to write the title than it is to show you how to do it. Identifying the center and radius to graph a circle given its equation in standard form. Okay, so example on this one, they give us x minus 2 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 16. Okay, you are going to have to use your graphing tools in Alex to draw these, but we can figure out then, remember the center, the equation has subtraction in it. Okay, so our center is at positive 2, negative 3. Okay, and then our radius is 4. So when you're on Alex, they're going to have you position, right, because 4 is the square root of 16, sorry. They're going to have you position your cursor on the center. Okay, so there's your 2, negative 3. And then they will have you move out to the correct radius. So all you need to do is figure out like one more point that you want to move to. So if this is at 2, negative 3, and we have a radius of 4, we can move 4 to the right and be at 6, negative 3. Okay, or we could move 4 units up and be at 2, 1. Those are probably the easiest ones. You could move 4 units to the left and be at negative 2, negative 3. Or you can move 4 units down and be at 2, negative 7. Any of those will work for your second point. Okay, let's get another one there. We have x minus 4 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 9. Okay, so the center there is at 4, negative 2, right? Minus 4 and plus 2, so you change the sign. And then the radius would be the square root of 9, which is 3. When you're graphing it, we can go to 4, negative 2 for the center. And then we can just, again, the easiest is to probably just move right or left. So we can move right to 7, negative 2 for another point. Or we could move up to 4, 1. Either way. Okay, and he'll give us some more points there. All right, another circle one. Actually, the next one is a little trickier. You need to complete the square. So this is identifying the center. We did do this in Algebra 2, so you might have your interactive notebook still. And radius to graph a circle given its equation in general form. And they're calling this basic. Okay, so general form is kind of all expanded out. So we would have x squared plus y squared plus 2x minus 8y plus 1 equals 0. Okay, so your first thing that you want to do is you're going to rearrange this. So we want to get the x's together. We want to get the y's together. And we want to get your constant to the other side. Okay, so we're going to rewrite that as x squared plus 2x plus y squared minus 8y. And then we're going to get that 1 to the other side, so equals negative 1. Okay. Now we complete the square twice. One for the x's, one for the y's. Okay, so remember you split the middle term. Okay, so we'd have half of 2x is 1x. So we can complete the square, making that x plus 1 squared. Okay. Now what that's going to do though, remember when you complete the square, you add on another constant. So we just added something to the left-hand side. We need to make sure that we're going to add it to the right-hand side. Okay. We'll get there in a second though. And then y squared minus 8, the middle term, if you split that, it would be negative 4. So y minus 4 squared. And we just added something there too, so we want to make sure we add it to the other side. Okay. Now, the trick here is to figure out what we just added. So think about if we were to expand these again. Okay. X plus 1 squared. If you want, you can use your boxes. Otherwise, remember that your a plus b squared is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So we'd have x squared plus 2x plus 1. Okay, so now we had x squared plus 2x. Now we have x squared plus 2x plus 1. And that's what I was talking about. That means we added 1 to the left-hand side, so we need to add 1 to the right-hand side. Okay, and then our y minus 4 squared, we'll have y squared minus 8y, which is what we wanted, plus 16. So we added a 16 to that side. So we need to make sure that we add it to this side. Okay. So this side should actually be 16. Okay. We're not going to actually leave it expanded out because this is what we want to find the center, right? So we kind of combine these two. We want the 16 here, but we want the graphing form there. So x plus 1 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 16. So your center is at negative 1, 4, and your radius is 4. Okay, and from there you can graph it like we did with the other one. Okay, let's get another one here. Next example, you have x squared plus y squared plus 2x minus 8y plus 13 equals 0. So again, we're going to get our x's kind of together, our y's together, and we're going to get that 13 to the other side. Okay, now we're going to complete the square by splitting those terms. So this would be x plus 1 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals negative 13. We got to figure out what we got to add on there. Okay, x plus 1 squared would be x squared plus 2x plus 1. So that means that we needed to add in a 1. Y minus 4 squared would be y squared minus 8y plus 16, which means we need to add in a 16. Okay, so what we've got over here is 4. Okay, so our center is negative 1, positive 4, and our radius is the square root of 4, which is 2. Okay, a little tricky with that one, but you have seen it before. In Algebra 2, we didn't spend a whole lot of time on it, but you saw it. Okay. Next one, more circles. The rest of these are all circles, remember. This next one is writing the equation of a circle at the origin, centered at the origin, given its radius or a point on the circle. Okay. So this one, I'm just looking here quick. Okay, so they're going to make these pretty easy on you. Okay, well, if it's centered at the origin, that means it's going to be x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Okay, we just got to figure out the radius. All right, so one example on this one is give the equation of the circle centered at the origin okay, that goes through the point 0, -3. Okay, well, if it's centered at the origin and goes through the point 0, -3, that means its radius is 3. Right, so your answer is just x squared plus y squared equals 9. And that's as easy as these are going to be. Okay, I can give you another one. The equation of the circle centered at the origin through the point. Yeah, I'm even looking for one that can be a little bit trickier, and I'm not even seeing one. 0, 10. Okay, well, if it goes through 0, 0, or if the center's at 0, 0, and it goes through 0, 10, then the radius is 10. So x squared plus y squared equals 100. That's it. Okay. Another one. We have writing the equation of a circle given its center and the radius or the diameter. Or diameter. Okay. So this one's just going to be different. It's not centered at the origin. Okay. So an example on this one, we have the center at -4, 9, and the radius 3. And you're just going to use that x minus h squared plus y minus k squared. I'm getting glitchy here. I'm going to finish it. Is r squared. Okay, remember the center is hk, so we'd have x plus 4 squared plus y minus 9 squared equals 3 squared. That's it. Super easy, right? Can do another one? Okay, we got another one where the center is at -7, 5, and the radius is 9. So we'll have x plus 7 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 9 squared, which is 81. Real straightforward. You guys should be good with those. Okay, one more topic, and then we are done with Module 8. Okay, we're going to write the equation. I think it's actually an equation. The equation of a circle given its center and a point on the circle. Okay, so an example of this one is we have the center at -3, 3, and we have it passes through the point 6, -4. Okay, so the center is at -3, 3, and it passes through 6, -4. Okay, what that means then is that this distance is the radius, and we're back to using your distance formula again. Okay, So -3 to 6 would be a distance of 9. 3 to -4 would be 7. So r would be the square root of 9 squared plus 7 squared. So the square root of 81 plus 49. So it's the square root of 130, if I did that right. Okay, and here's the good news. In our equation, we want r squared. So r squared is just 130. Okay, so it's as easy as that. X plus 3 squared plus y minus 3 squared will equal 130. And we'll do one more on that. We have the center at -6, 6, and it goes through the point 1, -2. Okay, so again, just a quick little sketch. -6, 6, and then 1, -2. So the radius, again, just use your distance formula. -6 to 1 in the x's would be a distance of 7, and 6 to -2 would be 8. So r would be the square root of 7 squared plus 8 squared. So it would be the square root of 49 plus 64. So that's the square root of 113. So r squared is 13. Or sorry, 113. So again, here's your center, HK. So x plus 6 squared plus y minus 6 squared equals 113. And that's it.